Good morning, dear viewers, and welcome to Vibrant Morning. Welcome to BTV, your home live TV. Now, this Monday, we are so pleased to be here and to bring you what is in the People Daily newspaper. That is to give you brief of the newspaper. You will also have a chance to get your copy and read elaboratively. Now, this morning, we have a lot that is in store, but before we kick off, remember you can follow us on YouTube page, that is BTV Kenya. You can follow us there. Please subscribe, watch, leave a comment, as we'll be very much ready to read comments and know where we are reaching you from and where you are viewing our services from. Again, you can also follow us on Facebook page Blackman TV. You can also leave a comment. You can also subscribe, like, and follow our page so that we know where we are reaching you from. Now, remember other social media platforms such as TikTok and Instagram. You can also follow us there and also read or follow the services that we offer. Subscribe, like, and follow. Now, there is a lot. We also have our WhatsApp fan page, that is Blackman TV. You can also reach our Blackman TV fan page using our phone number, that is the mobile number that is moving on your screen, and also send a request and we'll drop to you a link to join the fan page. You can also comment and also leave your views concerning the services that we give to you. Now, there's a lot that has been happening across the Republic of Kenya, but we welcome you today to Vibrant Morning. And remember, this is BTV, your home live TV. Now, before we proceed entirely, before I introduce my guest, Lennox Odede, I'm your host, Gagi Isaiah. And this morning, it is a brand new week. And we just kicking off this brand new week. I implore you to be very careful on the roads. It's been raining in Gori. Also, let us know the weather from where you are. I don't know, some people say it has been also raining in other parts of the country, but you can be shocked that maybe there are some parts of the country that are not receiving rains. So remember to help us understand how the program or how the weather of your place is. Without much wasting time, let me now introduce my co-host Lennox Odede. Lennox, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I'm also doing fine.
Yeah.
Now, as Lennox comes, please stay tuned as Lennox will introduce himself further and also give you a brief of what happened in Migori County last week and Migori Town and everywhere. There's a lot that's happened in the county. Welcome, Lennox.
Today, I just decided to say that I'm your guest.
You're my co-host.
You forgot, eh?
Maybe I didn't forget. You're my co-host.
Okay. Good morning. It's a very beautiful Monday, and we thank God for the very, very beautiful Monday. And it was a very beautiful weekend we had there. You know, most of the time, weekend is meant for family. But we as journalists, we don't get much time to spend time with our families. But we ensure that we give you the updates of what is happening in the county. Now, on Friday when I left, I told you that there would be a mega harambe organized by the spiritual churches in across Awendo constituency. And the harambe was organized by the MP Awendo Walter Owino Sirawa, and we saw dignitaries coming in that event. We had Jared Kokelo, MP for Nyando, we had Mark Nyamita, MP for Uriri, we had PS Raymond Omolo, we had Governor Ochilo Ayako, we had CS for Treasury John Mbari, and a lot happened. Now, number one of the things that happened, before I tell you what the leaders said in that meeting, is that we saw fracas or other sporadic violence when the leaders arrived. And it is something that we did not expect because number one, we had visitors. Number two, that was a church place because it took place at Dede Primary School. And that is a school it was a church at that time because we had the people of God worshiping there. But when the leaders arrived, then we saw fracas. I don't know what
sorry for that.
I don't know what always happens. I don't know whether these people who works with leaders who are termed as security personnel, I don't know whether they always want to be seen working when they fight or what, because I could see some security personnel belonging to some leaders in the county really fighting and beating each other, and I was like, and then they were fighting in front of the very leaders they serve. So I was like, does it mean that they have to be seen beating or fighting to mean that they are working? Because in as much as they are being paid to clear the way and at least push people and all that, does it mean that they have to show their strength so that people can at least know that they are working?
The last time we had a conversation here with Mr. Shem Odiam, one of the things that Mr. Shem really spoke of and that he made clear is that we need to be very careful, especially the young people, and we need to be very careful and not allow ourselves to be used by the politicians to accomplish their goals, and that what we need is unity for development of the country, and of our county. So I believe it is high time that leaders also need to caution those who work with them, those who provide security for them, their supporters, and tell them we have fought enough, we've been fighting. So it is time that we need to tone down, because it is now inflicting a lot of fear to many people who will wish to attend such events. It was a fundraising event, and imagine people are fighting in an event and you have gone there innocently. Maybe you are not alienated to any leader, you are not supporting any leader, and you just went there and you are seated there comfortably, and some people who do not know you presume that maybe you are supporting the other leader, and the fight erupts and you leave that place injured. What will happen? They scare people from going to the functions that are called upon by the leadership, and it will be very tough, because it will reach a time whereby when a function is called by the leadership and the entire leadership of Migori County is going to be present there, then you find that it will be left for them. No common wananchi will go, because what is needed is peace, is understanding. This is an event, for that matter, a church event, where people need to embrace peace, people need to embrace unity and work together. I don't know how it feels, but in my opinion, it is time for the leaders to talk to their security personnel. It is time for the leaders to urge their supporters that violence is not the way to go. That's what I think.
I think that's the way to go. Now, number two, we had some leaders slamming Rigathi Gachagua, just as we did last week, for mentioning that if in any case he wants to be elected as the president, then Kenya will have a replica of what happened in 2007. So we saw MP Uririma Nyamita telling him to stop daydreaming, and no Kenyan would want to go back to where we came from, especially in 2007. And he said that most Kenyans are still healing from the wounds caused by the 2007 general election. And MP Funyando Jared Kokelo also blamed the police officers for not arresting Rigathi Gachagua, because it is now 2 weeks since he made those reckless remarks. So he really wants that person to be arrested, and he said that if he won't be arrested in 1 week time, then he will take an initiative of arresting him by himself, present him to the nearest police station, and ensure that he is charged in the court of
arresting the Jaguar.
That was the funniest part of it. Now, we also saw CS for Treasury John Badi slamming MP for Kiharu Ndindi Nyoro, who was also the former chair of budget, for noting that maybe the current budget has got no fairness and all that. And he said that he's an expert who knows what he's doing, and there is fairness in his budget. And he called on the MPs to ensure that the budget is passed at the moment it will be tabled. Now, the budget is already in the government's portal, by the way. So please take your time, go and read it. Look for it, go and read it. And if in any case you don't understand it, we are here, we will explain it. And very soon we are planning to at least have an economist who can at least help us digest some of the issues in the budget. So those are some of the things that happened. Now, another thing that really happened, now this one happened after the event was over. Now, you know, most of the time, I just want us to discuss this for at least 4 minutes, the next 4 minutes before we move to People's Day. You know, most of the time when leaders are leaving an event, kuna wale watu ambao wanajaza kando ya gari lake, magari yao, wakitaka kupewa kakitu. So an incident happened in Awendo, in Dede when we were leaving. A lady had a smartphone, and she was among the people who are really scrambling. They surrounded the vehicle of a politician. Then, you know how politicians do their things. He takes a bunch of notes, then he throws them. Then he or she leaves you there scrambling. You know. So it happened that a politician did that. Then these people were scrambling. So in the process of scrambling, a lady's phone fell down kwa barabara. Then there was the vehicle which was coming along. Gari lilikanyaga simu, and I believe ile simu iliharibika. Ilikanyaga hiyo gurudumu la mbele, kakanyaga la nyuma, pia likakuja likakanyaga. Now, must we really do that? Must we scramble for maybe a 50 shilling note, maybe something like that that can make our properties to get damaged? Because if I look at the value of a phone and the value of 50 shillings, then the value of a phone is much more than the value of 50 shillings.
No, let me pick it from where you've just said the value of a phone. But let us look at it. It was near the road.
It was along the road.
Along the road.
Yeah.
Now, what if the lady would have fell and the vehicle crashed her right over her? That would be the big question.
Yeah. That was also another question.
That was the big question. And that's the question that we need to ask. And by asking that, I always find it very difficult to convince the young people, to convince the people, the common wananchi, the residents of, let me bring this incident. Something happened. I was walking with my friends, and somebody just said, Mheshimiwa. He called me Mheshimiwa. And he started saying, no, he was telling those who are around there, Ngananda called the next Mheshimiwa, Suna West Migori County. And jokingly, I said yes. When Honorable Peter Masaran leaves, I'm going to take the charge because I believe I've got what it takes to lead Migori County. And it was like, now you are our leader.
Yeah.
But when I told them that, you see, If I have to be in politics, then the way I do my politics is going to be different. It is not going to be a politics of goons. It is not going to be a politics where people fight, and it is not going to be a politics where there is dishing and giving money, because in the first place I don't have that money to give, and I don't have that strength. I don't have the capacity to hire people, and it is not in my norms to hire people to fight for me. And it is like, one, if you know you cannot hire people goons, then forget about politics. Number two, if you know you cannot give us money now, then forget about the votes. What brings this is that common Mwananchi don't see ahead. They don't see. The very moment, I always say this, and sorry, let me be on record with this. The very moment a politician is outside there campaigning and asking for your votes, and you are there asking for something small to put in your pocket during the time that he or she is campaigning, if at any point you are given the money, if at any point he comes to your group and says that you demanded for money and he gives you money, don't be shocked when they get into the position that you will elect them to. Number one, they will have to recover the money that they spent.
Gave you, yeah.
Yes, because nobody is ready to dish out money, and you expect that money go, because this person maybe he has borrowed a loan. This person maybe he has a group of friends who have collectively come to give him support, and these people at the end of the day they will need their money back. So this person who gives you money, this politician who gives you money, number one thing, you will have to pay back on what is given. You will have to recover, and not just recovering with a profit. And that is why sometimes it becomes very hard to approach a politician and tell him, you have not done this, you have not done this, you have not done this. What if the politician becomes clear-minded and said, remember when I was asking you for votes, you told me that I have to untie you, I have to give you something, I have to splash money to you. The money that I was splashing to you, where did I get it? I borrowed it, and I have to return it with a profit, because every time you borrow money, you pay back with interest. So that's one thing that we need to know. The very time that in Kenyan culture, in our politics, we'll grow a culture whereby, come, tell us your policies, tell us how we will be able to change our lives, and we want you to be accountable for every word that you speak. We don't need your money. We are going to give you votes. We are going to vote for you on account of the promises that you have done to us, that you've made to us. Now, upon that, you have served for like 1 year, and we haven't seen even a drop of what you had promised to do. The citizens can have the power to approach you and say, you promise you're going to do this within 100 days. You have not done this, and there's a location for this. What next? They have the power to petition you. They have the power, actually the citizens has the power to write to the August House to say, we don't need this leader. Is not able to deliver to us. But here comes, we go for money, our hands are tied, therefore we are not able to tell them, you are not serving us the way we wanted, you are not serving us the way you had promised, just because of a little what happens. And again, our politicians should grow. I'm sorry to say this, but our politicians should grow up. What I mean by growing is that there are some things that you need not to do. Imagine you are splashing money in that manner, and in your own constituency, in your own ward, in your nearest hometown, your village, somebody is going without food, and you're there splashing and throwing off. Maybe it is 20,000. You've changed it into 50 shillings notes, and you throw it outside there. Everybody loves money. Everybody loves money. We cannot do without money. But again, when you do that, what are you saying? You are telling these people fight. If, for example, somebody comes and throws, splashes money, like maybe he has changed 5,000 into 100 shillings note, and we here, we are over 100 people, and you have thrown it up, what will happen? We will scramble for it. The very moment you are scrambling for it, what are you creating? You are creating tension. You are creating a fight. So we should be very careful. Our politicians should be very careful. If you want to give the money, and you believe that the money that you give, you can account for it, you cannot be charged of the way you spend it, tell them, line up. If it is 100 bob, dish it yourself. Come, pass, chukua 100 bob yako, chukua enda. That will be more honorary than just splashing money. Let people scramble, let people injure themselves, let people lose their properties. I am not in support of that. And even the lady might have lost her phone. The phone was damaged. What if it was life? What if somebody would have knocked her and she fell on the road, and there's a vehicle coming on a high speed? We have to be very careful with what we do, how we handle things. And I will echo what Shem said during the interview. Do not allow yourself to be used. Again, he said this. I remember him saying this categorically. If you don't support me and I'm having a function, don't go there. If you don't believe in my ideologies and you don't support me, you criticize me, and you believe going to my function or the function I'm heading is going to kind of in a way bring a lot of chaos, don't go. Let us be wise.
Yes.
That's what I have to say.
Thank you so much for the contribution.
You're done, just like that.
Yeah. You can go to the People's Daily newspaper. Just highlight and yeah.
Okay. Welcome back, my dear viewers. And as we said earlier, we are jumping into the People Daily newspaper. And in the People Daily newspaper, there is a lot that is here. Now, looking out to the cover page of the People Daily newspaper, inside scheme to grab 370-acre refinery land. Now, that's the top story. The top story is on page 4 of the People Daily newspaper. Treasury and Energy Ministry fast track sale of pricey asset to foreign investor. That is on page 4 of the People Daily newspaper. Now, on the same newspaper, you'll find another story on the cover page. Alab State introduces law changes to regulate digital media. That is also there. And also we have on page 8, finance bill. Kenyans reject personal data laws and Ken transportation levy. You can also check that. That's also a story on page 8 on the People Daily newspaper. And also citizens suffer over failed state services on page 5 of the People Daily newspaper. Now, moving with speed to page 2, Kindiki, cash distribution in Mount Kenya under focus. You can also check that and read. Citizens are getting frustrated with the state's failure to deliver on critical promises. Now, remember, the story is by Samuel Karaoke. Now, there's a lot of promises that the state did to the people of Kenya, and in Mount Kenya they are saying Deputy President Kithure Kindiki has put the Kenya Kwanza government under sharp scrutiny after spearheading cash distribution initiative disguised as an economic empowerment program, especially in Mount Kenya region. You can also take your time and read that copy.
And we saw Rigathi Gachagua really criticizing this, and it is something that I don't know whether it is worrying or whether it is it should send an alarm to Kenyans. But whatever is happening actually is worrying, because dishing out money to citizens in the name of empowering them, it is something that is alarming. But I think there's a channel that should be followed to empower these people like the boda riders or the mamamboga. One of the things to ensure that they are empowered is to ensure that at least these loaning companies that gives them boda does that at a lower rate, and then they should ensure that maybe the roads these people use are well maintained. They should ensure that maybe the boda that these people use are also sold to them at a cheaper price. Because some people, are really over-exploiting them.
I don't want to be to criticize what the Deputy President Kithure Kindiki did, but I wanted to look at it on this aspect. You've talked about the boda. The boda sector, like in Migori County, let me use my county, there's a good organization of the boda sector.
Yeah.
And we have seen severally when the leaders, especially the Migori County Senator, Eddie Okech, empowering the boda sector by empowering the circles that they are in. But remember, there are some people who have shops like Kinyozis, like the barber shops. We have some ladies who own small shops where they sell perfumes. We have people who have some art items that they sell, and they don't have such good organizations. If there's a way to empower them, we would appreciate that. So in totality, I don't have a problem with what the Deputy President did. It might have come in a way that nobody had expected, but I tell you, there's so many people who needs empowerment. We have the cobblers, those who make the shoes, the shoe menders within the town sectors. If they are empowered, they can do much more. But how are we going to empower them? How are we going to empower them? That is another question that need to be asked, because they don't have an organization. There is no way that organization that has been put in place that is going to help them. We have the vendors, those who sell at the bus stops, at the bus stages, to the travelers. They don't have an organization. They are not organized in a way that you can bring them together and actually empower them as a team. And therefore, I ask, these people, they cannot come together. If there is a model, if the Deputy President deemed it fit that he can reach on them and help empower them, it will be easy. But like you said, it may not really seem to be a good picture. He should have organized. But the challenge, though, if you say we are going to empower the cobblers in Migori town, and you have organized a forum where you expect them to come, you will see people who are not even cobblers, they will come there. So that's another challenge. Personally, I don't see that problem. But I will say the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is out to criticize everything
that is being done by the government.
Yes, even something which is seen. Like, I was shocked. The president launched and gave the key of the affordable housing. It was there. It worked. And what happens? After that, you find people still criticize instead of being positive and saying this has happened, how can we enhance this? So those are some of the things that I would say we need to check and move on. I don't know whether I've really contributed to how you see that opinion may be different.
It is good to have a different opinion.
Yeah, the way you see it. One of our own on the same page, Kananu, retains top position as editor, hold elections. You remember Kananu was in contest with Yvonne Okwara.
Yeah.
And fortunately, Kananu has been...
Why did you call her one of your own?
I'm a media personnel.
Okay.
It's part of me.
But even Yvonne Okwara is a media personnel.
Yes. But now she's one of our own, among our own.
I get you.
I didn't mean to say Yvonne is not part of us. But I think the way it has been done now, if you didn't
and Yvonne Okwara conceded defeat.
Yes,
and that is good.
She accepted. That's what we want.
That's what we want. We really want our leaders to emulate that. Not that once you're defeated in an election, then you feel that you are the right person. No.
Yeah.
It is not all about...
you can also check that. And again, now we see Homa Bay. You have to give me your opinion on this. On page 3, Homa Bay launches ambition coffee plan to boost local economy. Story by Kefa Otieno. Government Gladys Wanga has launched a coffee seedling distribution program in Homa Bay County, aiming to boost agriculture in economic growth, marking a new chapter for agribusiness in the region. What is your take?
This is a very good move, because we have to involve ourselves in agriculture, because we can't eat metals, we can't eat. we depend on agriculture, and agriculture forms the largest contributor of economy. And so this move will ensure that maybe the people of Homa Bay are maybe their livelihoods are improved in terms of coffee farming and all.
No, you come from around Homa Bay. You are a neighbor to Homa Bay.
Yeah,
County.
I'm a neighbor to Homa Bay.
I didn't know that Homa Bay they also grow coffee.
Yeah, Homa Bay is known for the aspect of being cool and dry. But with irrigation, I think everything is possible. And again, when you look at the side of Oyugis, Kikuja Juu, it is an ideal area for coffee. Even Opapo, not really Opapo, after Opapo, that area is an ideal area for coffee. So it's a good move.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is another story. I want you to listen to this. University students form a new body to unlock prospects. A story by Francis Githinji. Move seeks to develop a program to ensure that every graduate has a clear pathway to either a job or a self-employment, and say when today's youth were told in their formative years that they would be tomorrow's leaders, they took it to heart. So today it is bitter pills for them to swallow when they wake up to realization that all promises made by the same people remain. Thinking pattern like tribalism and all representative, even at the heart of their workers' union, still wears the pants in town. The body is coming up.
That is a good move, but the problem is, will they be supported by the local leaders, or rather the leaders? Because what I have come to realize with the leaders is that most of them they will tell you that we need to empower you guys, but they don't need an empowered region, or they don't need empowered people. they want people who will always go to them and beg them. Yeah.
Okay, great move for the university students.
Yeah, but we wish them all the best.
And they're calling all the alumni, so yeah. I know you're one from university.
Yeah, I'm one, and I know you're one too.
I'm one too. So when we are called upon, let us jump there and be with them together to champion this. Inside plot to grab, sorry, inside plot to grab that is 370-acre refinery land. Ruto administration transferring to foreign investor prime coastal tract that has been idle for 9 years. A story by Ruben Mwambingu. President William Ruto's administration has begun a rapid process to transfer Kenya Petroleum Refineries Limited to a foreign investor, with the parastatal's prime land serving as primary draw. What do you think?
I think that's a very good move, because we even saw state sugar companies being leased. So remember, our people need employment, and this refinery has ceased working, or ceased
working.
Yeah, ceased working 9 years ago. It means that very many people lost job from once this company shut down. So once it is given to a private entity, then it means that very many Kenyans will have an opportunity to work here, because this is a company which works day and night for 24 hours. Remember, kutakuwa na watu wa night shift, kutakuwa na watu wa day shift, and most of the time you find that people works for 8 hours in a company. For example, if you go to Sony, when it is working, people work for 8 hours. You work for 8 hours, you go. Someone comes in, works for 8 hours, and ends. So that's what should be happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
War of words between President William Ruto and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Ruto and Gachagua deliver contrasting messages from church pulpits. That was on Sunday. A story by Faith Masharia. President William Ruto and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua delivered different messages from church pulpits on Sunday, highlighting growing political tension in Kenya. Most you take.
Aje tu watu wakwaruzane.
The president is saying, we promised this, we delivered this, and you realize that at the same time, we also see the deputy president Rigathi Gachagua is saying that's a lie, Ruto is a big liar, and all that.
So that's their own. We don't know what teared them apart. Yeah, because they were once friends, and they are politicians. That it is normal for a politician. In politics, there is no permanent enemy, and in politics, there is no permanent friend. So we don't know what happened.
Okay.
Because what we know as Kenyans is that Rigathi Gachagua was impeached. But the reason as to main reason what teared them apart, we still don't know. It's them who knows. It's between them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to call him your in-law.
Wapambane.
I don't know. There's another story here. I don't know whether to call them your in-law. But no, Maraga denies claim of interfering with Tanzania affair. Story
So,
by Kefa Omar. Now,
my
former Chief Justice
where's my in-law coming in?
has dismissed accusation that a delegation of regional activists, including himself, intended to disrupt peace in Tanzania during the recent visit. That's what Maraga is now saying. That
But he was the only one who was allowed to represent Tundu Lissu.
Yeah.
So I don't see how he interfered with. I think he was just doing his diplomatic work.
Suluhu came out and said she's not going to allow activists to come
And ruin her country.
and ruin her country. So
Wamedhibitiwa
you can also check on that story. That's a good story that you can read. Now, getting onto matters that actually we really afraid to tackle. On matters that we are afraid of tackling.
State of failed services as Kenyans face suffering. But we can see the picture of CS Mbadi. Yeah. What he said that the government is working day and night to ensure that Kenyans at least they get services. Yeah.
But what is happening here is about the online sites you visit. There's an introduction, or there's a bill that is being introduced that will foresee that those who are in digital platform doing digital business, there's a way that tax is going to be involved much further. There's a way that there's going to be a lot of restriction. Proposed amendment could give the government unapprehended access to people's browsing history by allowing internet server providers to monitor customers' usage and convert the usage into readable details. So if you are in online jobs, then the bill that is being proposed is going to allow, is going to give room actually that your data can be handled by the government. They'll be able to know, what
there's a saying which goes that you change with changes before changes you. I see nothing wrong with the bill, because once you are doing a job, then you and earning, then I think automatically you have to pay taxes.
Okay.
Because the country cannot be built using stones. The country can only be built using the taxes we pay. So I think it is just as a citizen, as a good and law-abiding citizen, we just need to adhere to the rules and pay taxes. Yeah.
Machogu now blames Kisii MPs for his dismissal. That's on page 7. Now, XCS sacked alongside entire cabinet during the Gen Z protests, says he spanned approaches by area lawmakers to engage in graft. That is a story by Evans Nyakundi. Now, former Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu has broken his silence over his sacking by President William Ruto, blaming 5 UDA legislators from Kisii, from his Kisii community, for the move. Machogu said he was sacked after he resisted and refused to engage in corruption deals surrounding the construction of classrooms in 68 schools in Nyamira County under the funding of Kuwait government. He said that 5 lawmakers wanted him to give them tenders and contracts to build the schools, and when he declined, they started hatching scheme to fight him politically.
You know me, I don't think Machogu was sacked, because he was just replaced by someone who was to deputize him in the gubernatorial race in Kisii County. So I think what Machogu is just trying to do is just trying to tell the Kisii people that he is as clean as cotton. Safi kama pamba. Because I know very well that he will come back to look for that seat he was contesting for.
But again, look at it. He's saying, he's not mincing words here. It's being clear as crystals. That
he was not sacked.
What is the meaning?
To me, I
of
feel
sacked?
he was not sacked.
What
because
is
look at Ogamba Migos. Who was Ogamba Migos to Machogu? Who was Ogamba Migos to Machogu? Who is Ogamba Migos, the current CS for education, to Machogu?
He was the deputy.
Yeah, he was supposed to be he was the running mate of Machogu. So I think what Ruto just did, what the president did, is just to reward Machogu, but indirectly.
Okay. I don't know.
He's just making noise.
Okay, stakeholders reject finance bill clauses. Now, there are some clauses in the finance bill 2025-2026 that we see that stakeholders are now rejecting. One is, this include proposal to allow KRA to access personal financial data and excess duty on imports. What is your take? It's saying A number of stakeholders want offensive clauses in the Finance Bill 2025 to be deleted. They cited the proposal to allow Kenya's Revenue Authority to have access to a personal financial data and a recommendation to have value-added taxes status on transportation of sugarcane from farms to milling factories should be deleted.
You know, I just urge Kenyans to ensure that they read the Finance Bill 2024 so that at least they can also have their side of the story. Let us not wait for people who are seeing that they are going to be affected in one way or the other to read it for us. Ensure you read it and understand it.
It is not just about reading. Now, this clause, this particular clause, gives the carrier opportunity to have your financial data.
Yeah.
That's number one. How you transact your transaction, your M-Pesa transaction, that's your financial data. For example, how you do your banking, your financial status, and how you transact within the banking sector, and all that. And that is what many people are opposed to. What some stakeholders are saying, no, we cannot do that. It means why? I think there's something that people are hiding. I don't have a problem if you access the way money flows in my M-Pesa in and out. It keeps you thinking.
Yeah, it's something that I have to think about.
Okay, even as you think about that, we jump to page 13. Kome reappoints Mwilu bench for a Gachagua case. Remember, there's been this case whereby people have been saying Mwilu had no authority to constitute a bench that did hear regarding Gachagua's petition and all that. Now we see Chief Justice Martha Koome has reappointed Mwilu bench for the Gachagua case. Now a story by Alphonse Mungao. Chief Justice Martha Koome has retained the same bench that her deputy Philomena Mwilu had previously selected to hear petitions of the impeachment of Rigathi Gachagua as deputy president. In a notice of return to the sender issued on Friday by the Chief Justice, this means that Chief Justice Eric Ogola, Anthony Merima, Freda Mugambi are once again in handling the same matter.
Gachagua is home. That's what I can tell you, because I think kama jamaa angetulia, then I think hii kesi yake ingeenda mahali. But if you look at it, hii kesi haiendi mahali because number one, he's throwing words in quotes that is loosely, that is direct translation. Number two, he has formed a party, a DCP party. And in fact, I saw he has got a branch here in Migori, somewhere in Uriri. So there's someone who knows already that he has gone home. He's home.
And he's not coming back.
He's not coming back. So whatever is going on, sijui what bara ameshikilia kesi mahakamani and all that, is just trying to, it's just a dead thing. Let me say that.
Okay. We move back to
page 10.
Malulu. Anyagala set to lead Kenya Kwanza in Malava polls. As Mudavadi tells electorate to vote wisely when choosing Malulu Ijenda successor.
Malulu Ijendi. Malulu Ijendi.
Malulu Ijendi successor. Now you can also check that story. Higher Education Principal Secretary Beatrice. Higher Education Secretary Beatrice Muganda
Page
Inyangala has been identified as the Kenya Kwanza point person in the impending Malava parliamentary by-election. Now this is what has been revealed by the People Daily. We know Malava MP who passed on, unfortunately. Now that is what is coming on. Now let us get back to page 10. Let us get back to page 10 of the People Daily newspaper as we wind up. And as you know, you always take on the quotes of the day.
Now, number one, now we have MSME. PS Susan Mangeni. We have already disbursed 38.7 million shillings to facilitate about 250 successful applicants under Wezesha Kazi Maju. The Uwezo Fund has also widened its scope to include vulnerable adult men. Then we have Education CS Ezekiel Machogu, ex-CS. The project of constructing classroom in 68 schools was worth 1.9 billion, which Gusii region MPs wanted me to share among themselves by being given tenders and contracts, something I strongly rejected. Yes, you read. Then we have Lonyangapuo, former West Pokot Governor John Lonyangapuo. Your Honor, I decided to bypass the procurement rules and purchase the maize through direct methods for my people who are on the verge of dying due to severe famine and drought. He was explaining why he bypassed all the procurement processes.
Yes.
Just to buy maize. Okay. Now, tune of the day. We can see a frog, and the frog is hunting, and you know the frog has got a long tongue, and the frog is labeled Tanzania, and there's a fly the frog is catching using its long tongue. That is the Kenyan political activists. And the frog is speaking. Nimeanza kuona mtiririko wa wanaharakati kwa region yangu na anawashika moja kwa moja. So I think it's reflecting
that's
on
just to kind of elaborating what's happening in Tanzania and regarding the activists.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, my dear viewers. We have to bring this to a close. But before we finally bring this to a close, remember, we are hatching a program for you known as Newsmakers, and the Newsmakers will bring you a program whereby we will tackle leaders across the country, across the Republic of Kenya, who make news in matters of politics. We'll also bring you what they say across the week or after a period of time that actually made news of the day or of the season. Thank you so much for keeping tuned to BTV. Thank you so much for tuning to Vibrant Morning. Let me give Mr. Lennox Odedit today wind up the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a bright Monday and a bright week ahead.